up in the news at 7. Extremely dangerous Hurricane Beryl barrels toward Caribbean. KSAMC activates emergency operations in preparation for Beryl. Mark Golding to renounce UK citizenship. And in sports, Reggae Boys seek first Copa America win in final tournament encounter. From Kingston, Jamaica, this is CVM News at 7, the weekend edition, and a very abbreviated version this Sunday, June 30. Welcome, I'm TK Dawkins. As of the latest update, Hurricane Beryl has intensified into an extremely dangerous Category 4 storm, making it the first hurricane of the 2024 Atlantic season. The storm poses a significant threat to the Southeast Caribbean region. Hurricane Beryl's rapid intensification into a Category 4 hurricane signifies that it has sustained winds of at least 130 knots, approximately 150 miles per hour, or 241 kilometers per hour. Raheem White reports.
According to the U.S. National Hurricane Center, NHC, Beryl is currently churning in the Atlantic Ocean about 350 miles or 565 kilometers east of Barbados. The NHC is warning residents that this is a very dangerous situation and has urged everyone to heed local government and emergency management instructions. The U.S. National Hurricane Center says Beryl is now an extremely dangerous Category 4 hurricane. The storm's eye is expected to move early on Monday across the Windward Islands, a cluster of islands including Martinique, St. Lucia, and Grenada, among others. Residents in these areas are being advised to take all necessary precautions. The combination of strong winds, heavy rains, and storm surge could result in severe damage and dangerous condition. In Barbados, preparations are underway as Hurricane Beryl approaches. The island is bracing for potentially life-threatening winds and the storm surge. In the Barbadian capital of Bridgetown, cars were seen lined up at gas stations, while supermarkets and grocery stores were crowded with shoppers buying food, water, and other supplies. Some households were already boarding up their properties. The NHC has identified St. Vincent and the Grenadines, as well as Grenada, as being at the highest risk of being at the center of the storm's core beginning early Monday. CVM News will continue to monitor Hurricane Beryl and provide updates as the situation develops. Raheem White, CVM News.
As preparations begin for the anticipated active hurricane season, the mayor of Falmouth has made it clear that his municipality is ready to weather the weather. The mayor highlighted only one area that has been left outstanding but is now being undertaken. Trisha Gay Kelly has this story.
With more weather systems forming in and around the Caribbean, the Met Service's prediction of a very active season is proving to be true. Freak storms have already passed through some parishes, but Trelawny officials say the parish is hurricane ready. Mayor of Falmouth, Colin Gager, says preparations are being made in quick succession. First up, drain cleaning.
All the drains is being cleaned. All bottles and everything is being taken out at this time. The roads and work department, they are supervising that. We want to make sure that anything happen, water is willing to flow, ready to flow freely.
While that's being done, the mayor says some aspects of the preparation have already been completed. He says all shelters in the 9 municipal divisions are functional.
They are manned with volunteers who will be working, shelter managers. We have a list of their phone numbers. We have everything being prepared. We also have the managers properly trained. So all training has been completed and they are ready.
Mayor Gager reminds there's no shelter in the parish capital. However, schools and other public buildings will be utilized. He highlighted the municipality's Plan B should the shelters run out of basic needs.
If the needs be in the 9 divisions, we can get things on a credit from that supermarket that is so identified, so that if people is in the shelter, they wouldn't have a problem getting something to eat. So we are well prepared.
Trisha Gay Kelly, CVM News.
Kingston's Mayor Andrew Swaby convened a meeting at the Kingston and St. Andrew Corporation to discuss preparations for Hurricane Beryl. He emphasized the importance of being proactive and ensuring that all necessary measures are in place to protect the residents of Kingston in case the hurricane hits the area. One of the key decisions made during this meeting was to activate the Emergency Operations Center starting on Monday. This move indicates that the local government is taking the threat of Hurricane Beryl seriously and is gearing up to respond effectively.
We have called a meeting of the other agents and the external agents to check their readiness. Originally, what we had planned a meeting for the 12th, but given Hurricane Beryl, we have pulled the meeting forward, so it will be done tomorrow morning. And also, what we have done we have toured some critical drains that we consider that needs to be cleared, because if you don't clear those drains, the vehicles will be impassable. So that's what we have done today.
Mayor Swaby says the municipality is also making arrangement for the homeless.
For example, there's a temporary location at Church Street that can accommodate about 200 of them. We will be encouraging them to go to that center.
You'll be reopening that?
Yeah, actually, that was a center we had during COVID, and we'll be reopening that now.
In terms of shelters, how many shelters you have ready?
What I've instructed the disaster coordinator to do is to put all our shelters and our shelter managers and some form of contact to them on our website, on our social media platform, so that persons can know where the shelters are and they can have access to the shelters if needed.
Mark Golding, the People's National Party president and opposition leader, has announced his intention to renounce his British citizenship. This decision comes after facing pressure from political opponents and the wider society, who have emphasized the importance of singular allegiance for individuals aspiring to lead the country. Golding made this declaration while addressing members of the party's National Executive Committee in St. Thomas. Andre Jebinson reports.
Mark Golding had been facing intense scrutiny over the fact that he is a dual citizen of Jamaica, the land of his birth, and the United Kingdom, his father's birthplace. Those looking on felt it was an untenable situation, since Golding had been arguing for the country to cut ties with the United Kingdom, most recently removing the Privy Council as the country's final appellate court. On Sunday, facing the party's highest decision-making body outside of its annual conference, the National Executive Committee, Golding said that the time had come.
I do not want my status to be something which would hold the party back, impact the party negatively, or any of our candidates who are on the road to victory in difficult seats which we're looking to win, to have any kind of disadvantage because of my status. So as a result of that, I have decided to take that issue off the table by renouncing my British citizenship.
Golding had been adamant that his status does not upset Jamaica's constitutional framework, which allows parliamentarians to be dual citizens of countries within the Commonwealth. But others argued it was a moral or ethical debate, not a legal one, since the PNP took Jamaica Labour Party parliamentarians to court for being dual citizens of the United States, which is not allowed by the Jamaican Constitution. Golding explained how he landed on his decision to give up his UK citizenship.
I had to be mindful of where the Jamaican people felt about this, and if it became apparent that the view was that leaders in the parliament, or members of parliament, senators, or persons of holding high office should be exclusively Jamaican citizens, I would take that into account. And comrades, we have reached a point now where we have some data on the views of the public on this matter.
Golding maintained that he had always viewed his status as normal and different than those who had sought citizenship in a foreign land. Andre Jebinson, CVM News.
Road fatalities for 2024 have now reached the 200 mark, just shy of the half-year point. Stakeholders say it will be difficult to prevent over 400 dying unless funds are released to carry out a sustained public education campaign tied to the use of traffic cameras. Nika Lewis reports.
We can put a stop to this. We have to put a stop to this. And we have some of the tools to do so. We need to employ them now.
Just days before the end of the first half of the year, and already another 200 people perished on Jamaica's roads. The ominous revelation has left Vice Chairman of the National Road Safety Council, NRSC, Dr. Lucian Jones, persistently preaching for a sustained road safety campaign.
There are not many levers to pull. And two of them come to mind that we have been discussing publicly and with the government, both of which have been given assent by the Prime Minister in a recent meeting with him. One is to launch a high-level, sustained public education campaign to reach into the hearts and minds of those who are speeding on our roads in particular, those who are not wearing helmets, those who are driving under the influence of alcohol, and those pedestrians who are crossing roads without due care.
And the other?
The introduction, the use of cameras to detect especially speeding infractions, and of course red light infractions too, and to send the offenders tickets electronically. I believe if these two things were to happen, and again the Prime Minister has given his assent to both of them, then we have a fighting chance to come in under 400 this year. If not, we are quite likely to repeat the tragedy of last year.
He notes efforts to review the new Road Traffic Act are well in motion, adding some of the changes are needed to curb modern-day challenges.
At no point I think the fight to make sure that people don't use cell phones while driving never contemplated police giving people tickets for having a phone in their lap or on the seat beside them. They would have to have had sight of the person using the phone without a hands-free instrument. So I think some of these changes are welcomed. But none of these are going to significantly change the trend that is happening now and to reduce the number of persons who are dying. We have to ensure that to put in place those two major factors, pull those two levers.
Nika Lewis, CVM News.
We take a break now. More CVM News at 7 when we return.
Our days get a little complex sometimes. Often so many things make sense, yet so many do not. We are being intentional about giving prominence to the big stories in order to clarify and enlighten. Lead Story explains who, what, when, where, why, and how. Lead Story with George Davis, weekdays at 6:30 p.m. on CVM TV.
Bollywood has never been this good. Catch Made for Each Other weekdays at 12:30 p.m. on your drama station. Brought to you by Hyundai.
Welcome back. During this time of year when many children transition from one level of education to the next, many things would have been assessed, including their learning ability. It's an extensive topic that comes with conditions, including a disability. This week's focus on Inspire Jamaica with Carlin Brown.
Reach out and touch somebody's hand. Make this world a better place if you can.
It's a common misconception with not being reciprocal when it comes on to learning, because there are various ways of teaching. Some students might not understand some ways that may cause people not to know why they're not learning, and then there's the disability. So it's a common misconception from not wanting to learn, not knowing how to learn, and not learning in general.
Michael James sounds older than he is. This student at Jamaica College via Holy Family Primary and Shady Grove Basic is able to speak this boldly on a topic often stereotyped, having come full circle to the truth. You see, Michael has a twin, a sister, Michaela.
So as twins, there are many ups and many downs. I don't know if it's equal or some is higher than the rest, but there are many ups and downs. There are times when I love her so much and times when I just cannot deal with her.
Well, a real test came when only he earned a place to a traditional high school.
Well, it was really difficult not being with her because she was a part of me, both literally and figuratively. So it was really hard, but I managed to get through it with the help of my teacher and my classmates.
But look at him now in the front row at her graduation, where she was the only female in the class of 2024 at the Jamaica Association for Children with Learning Disability Learning Center in Kingston. And like he was, she too was a valedictorian at her school, walking away with the top student trophy and several other awards, heading to high school after PEP exams.
I'm just really elated right now just to see how far she has come as a young woman, and as she continues to develop. I'm so proud that I was able to witness her great achievements.
From a position where he fell short on patience, Michael now understands why total strangers react the way they sometimes do out of ignorance.
How early were you able to figure that something maybe a little different?
Well, I wouldn't per se say it was that I found out that she had the learning disability, but over time, me and my family found out.
How did you react to that?
Well, I was not such a good person when it came on to that. I would usually use that against her in some ways, but no, after all of this that's happened, I just feel so bittersweet, as some might say, because I'm remorseful for all the things that I've said, but I did eventually apologize. But still, nonetheless, I said them and I'm remorseful, and now I'm just so happy to see her come so far as my younger sister.
So with that said, you understand why generally persons in society may not understand out of ignorance. What do you say?
Yeah, I would say I'd understand.
But the person who best deals with all the misunderstandings externally and internally for 6 children is Michelle James.
I know she's come far away.
Very far away, because she was in the regular primary school, and I noticed that there was something off with her grades. So I usually say to the teachers, Miss, what do you think about Michaela's grade? So they keep saying to me, no man, don't pay that, no man, because some students are late bloomers. But I was a bit concerned, because I was saying, no, this don't look right at all. Because each time she finished one class, the grades were really, really low. So, and up to grade 4, I was still asking the teachers, what do you think? They said, no, leave her alone. I said, no, I'm not going to listen to you. So upon doing they did an evaluation on her, and based on what they found, a report was sent to the Ministry of Education. And after that report was sent, Ministry of Education recommended that she come to this school. And at the first report that I got from this school, I was so amazed.